What's up? We're back. It's episode number 4. Today, well, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about wedding workflow. And we're going to talk about from the time you first contact us to the end of your night and what happens after the event. So that's what we're going to talk about this time. We've talked about social media. We've talked about Cold Sparks. And now we're going to talk about how we cater to the individual couple, the individual event, whatever it may be. We're going to talk about what that workflow looks like.
Yeah, so this one's going to be definitely directed towards the wedding industry, but I think a lot of what we talk about will be useful in other elements of business, just customer service aspects, because that's a lot of what the wedding industry is customer service. That's what sets you apart. So, Kyle, what would you say, like, from initial contact, when a bride contacts you, how's your whole process begin?
All right, well, it depends a little bit about how they're contacting me. I get a lot of them through Facebook Messenger, so that's something I'm checking all the time is Facebook Messenger, making sure somebody hasn't contacted me about something. Try to get back in contact with them, find out a little bit of information about their day, because I don't know about you guys, but I get a lot that just say, hey, we'd love you, are you available? 9 times out of 10 I have to ask a date, where they're at, is it a wedding, is it making sure you find out all that information. So I kind of got to find that out first, and then I like to go forward. Now with, like we've talked about in previous episodes, probably verbatim, you're tired of hearing about it, but those videos we shot, I send them intro videos, and just so that they understand who I am, that we have time available for their day. And then kind of step them through the process, of which I send out a contract. For me, I don't know how you guys do it, but from initial contact, from the date I send out a contract, they have a week to get it back, and I'll hold their day, kind of a soft hold. After that, until I have the retainer, it's an open date. So, and then once I have that, I actually have a link to a app that I use, Vibo. I'll send them links to that so we can start planning through their day. It's got a event
What
planner
is Vibo?
in there too. So Vibo is it's really a wedding kind of a timeline manager and a music manager. There's places in there that you can put information for your whole day, which is super useful for brides, because there's a lot of different people who, like this one bride I was working with before I sent her the app. She had like 4 different apps she was planning her wedding through.
Ugh,
well,
that's rough.
Yeah. And so I sent her Vibo. I was like, all this information you're putting into all these other ones, right here, we have a planning form. You can just fill all that stuff out. It's all in one place. People actually are just like, wow, there's a lot of stuff in here, and a lot of stuff they don't think about too, which is really nice. Like it asks them about, like, where's, are you staying at a hotel? Like, put in a reservation number. Like, it has all that stuff already built in.
Oh, wow. So
it's, it's pretty useful, and it's really nice on the music side, because it also gives people, like popular songs for, if you're trying to think of a first dance song or an entrance song or a mother son or a father daughter.
It gives some ideas.
It gives them a lot of ideas. There's a whole bunch of different ones, and you can integrate it with Spotify, so that if they have a Spotify playlist, they can just upload it directly into Vibo, and then I can send it to me, and then it makes my my wedding timelines and music selections for me. So it's pretty easy, pretty nice.
This is one area that and we've talked about this, that I figured out you and I are different, and when it comes to these management tools, they're known as CRMs, customer relations management. So they're basically an automated process that you can customize to tailor to your business. There's a lot of them out there, especially for the wedding DJ industry. There's multiples out there that you can use that can schedule your emails and this and that. I've dabbled in a couple of them. I haven't gotten too deep. But for me personally, I've found out that the old school way of just emailing and stuff works best for me. But I do know other companies that use these automated services, and they're really successful with them, and really helps them a lot with their workflow and takes some of that weight off of their shoulders as far as, did I email this bride back?
Right.
Yeah, I wish, in a way, I kind of wish Vibo did that. Really, the planning tool is really for them. Really, the only side for me is the music thing. It's kind of nice because it keeps a schedule of all my events, and it emails me the week before, hey, you have this event coming up, here's what we have so far, and all that kind of stuff, which is really nice. But it doesn't email anything to the clients. It's just kind of a thing for them.
Gotcha.
But anything that they put into their wedding plan, I can see, because then I can download it, which is also nice because then I have an itinerary of their whole day. This is what's going on. This is what time they're showing up for makeup. This is what time they're doing this. So I can really kind of plan out my day.
Well, and that
nice.
kind of helps because then when we reach out to photographers or videographers or, whoever we reach out to, the venue, even wedding planners, we can relay that information and then all of a sudden we're valued.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I actually built into it is that to put in who's your photographer, who's your caterer,
right,
where's the venue, all that kind of stuff. So when I can go in and look at that, then I have all that information whenever I need it. I don't have to contact the bride for it. I don't have to, hey, who do you have? And, it's just all built in there. So there's a lot of little ways that I use it, which is...
So does it give a link to like their Facebook page or website or anything on there? Or do you have to look that up
they can put it in there. Again, it's
okay.
Whatever they put in.
Gotcha.
There's places for them to put that in there. And some
Gotcha.
do. Like I've had a bride fill out every single thing on that entire sheet, which there's a lot.
Ooh,
and
yeah.
I've had ones that are just like, oh yeah, I didn't even use it. So I don't have any of that information. So then I do have to reach out and ask for certain things. But, that's
okay,
where...
So you do that, and then do you still set up a planning consultation or a planning meeting with them a couple weeks before? I know Jesse and I do. Like, I send them a sheet, and then 2 to 3 weeks before the event, I always tell people. I mean, I just got married a couple of years ago, so I always tell people, like, trust me, I know how stressful it is. I know you have a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of people you have to talk to, and a lot of people you have to pay, and all of that. So I try to be as hands-off as I can until I feel the time is right. Now, people can always ask me questions. People can always contact me. But I like to be – I know how professional I am, so I like to let them know that and let them know to not worry about the DJ. Don't worry about your music, your entertainment.
Right.
We'll reach out 2 to 3 weeks before the event, and we'll set up everything. We'll go over everything at that time. And until then, I send them a planning sheet like, hey, try to go over this, try to get this filled out. If you don't know, we'll talk about it in that meeting.
Yeah.
And if I can do that meeting in person, I'd rather. But a lot of times with you and I, Kyle, a lot of times with our location, it's like, how do we meet? You know what I mean? It's a drive.
Well, just the other day I drove, and I, like we said again before, I work a regular job. After work, I drove 2 hours to go meet a bride and went over everything for her thing. And that's actually one of the downsides to using Vibo a little bit is that because of the fact there's so much information in there, they're just like, well, we don't need to meet. We know everything.
Right.
Like, I'd still rather do it because I want to see you in your venue and see what your idea of your day is in the venue you're at. Yeah. Because if I get there and let's say that you put me on a stage, well, if I don't know that your head table is also going to be on the stage, well, if I come in there with a plan that's totally different than what you had,
exactly,
then either you're going to be upset or I'm going to be upset that something wasn't communicated and stuff like that. So that's something that I always try to do and I push for really hard is that face-to-face. I don't know, Jesse, I know you do a ton of consultations like that.
Well, yeah, and I do get in those situations where they, because I send out our planning packet. It's got everything pretty much that I'm going to ask them in our in-person consultations. So there's plenty of times we show up, or maybe they even email it to me ahead of time, and it's 100% filled out. So to DJ their wedding, I already have all the information I need. But now let's dive deep. Let's personalize it. Let's start asking some questions and digging into, maybe some out-of-the-box ideas, or maybe just some things they didn't think about to bring up. So I really like those meetings that they already have everything filled out, because then we could sit down and get personal with each other. And, I just let
and
them
you can
talk.
build that relationship with them because you're not worried about a sheet of paper.
Exactly. Like I'll browse through it and I'll touch a couple topics, but then I'll say just like, what are some things we can do to make it special for you guys? Like, have you thought about this?
Right.
Have you thought about that? And really, anytime I'm in person with somebody, especially a client, I do my best to keep my mouth shut as much as possible. I want them to do the talking. I want them to tell me about them, where they're from, how they met, how the engagement went. You get a lot of information if you just listen. You don't have to ask too many questions. Just listen to what they have to say.
Well, and it's a big deal. I mean, a lot of couples that we DJ for are, around my age. So it's a big deal when you get engaged. Like, it's a huge deal, especially for the girls or, the person being proposed to. It's huge. It's a big moment in their life, and a lot of them want to brag, and a lot of them they want to tell anybody that wants to listen, about, oh, this is how we did it. I know Molly told everybody, that we were at the Bellagio in Vegas, and, this is when it happened. And, she still to this day remembers I told her to put her phone away and, stop taking pictures and, stuff like that. 'Cause in my head, I was like, I know what I want to do, but Granted, Jesse, you DJ'd my wedding, so we didn't have to, talk about all of that. But, had it not been you guys, or had it not been you, we would have, that would have been a fun story or a funny story to tell.
But if you guys were strangers and I didn't know you personally prior to that, that story would have given me a lot of insight into your guys' personalities and who you are, what type of people you are. I mean, heck, just the fact you did it in Vegas tells me a lot about you.
Yeah. I like to have fun.
So you get a lot of information that way. But I wanted to go back a little bit. Kyle, you mentioned you get a lot of your inquiries and your first contacts from Facebook, social media.
Yep.
I would say 3 to 4 years ago, Facebook was probably 85% of my inquiries. Probably the rest was word of mouth and vendors I'm networked with and stuff. Maybe a few years more than that. I can't remember when I set my website up officially.
Sure.
But my website now, I think, sends me probably 85 to 90% of my inquiries. And I have a questionnaire with my website. When they send an inquiry, they have to tell me their wedding date. They fill out their location, where their wedding will be. Because there's times where there's weddings that are maybe out of my travel zone, and let's not waste each other's time. Let me set you up with a DJ that's more in your area.
Right.
So if some DJs or wedding professionals out there, if you don't have a website, I'll say I was one of those people. Like, oh, social media is working for me. It's doing great. I don't need a website yet. It was a game changer, man. And it wasn't hard to get set up. It didn't cost me thousands and thousands of dollars. And I feel my website looks fairly professional.
Yeah, I built our website, and to be fair, I mean, my website's only been up a little over maybe about a year right now, so it hasn't been up for a ton of time. I am getting inquiries through there. I think I got actually like 4 in the last 2 weeks or so, but I am right now. Even with the word of mouth stuff, it's kind of coming through Facebook and all that kind of stuff. So. Whenever I can do it, that's kind of what's been going on right now. So
right.
Yep.
What's that?
You guys hear that?
Dude, what does that mean? I forget.
You know what time it is?
No, I don't.
It's time for Would You Rather.
Oh.
That's our segment today.
All right.
Hosted by yours truly.
Would you
Joe Tafton.
rather? So how's this going to work?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to work kind of like we've done the last one. So this is going to work. I'm going to ask Kyle a would you rather, and then the same would you rather will apply to you, Jesse.
Okay. So do we have to, when we're done, do you want us to justify our answers or just say them?
Yeah, go ahead and justify it. We got time.
Okay.
We got time.
All right.
Okay, number 1. Would you rather go about your normal day?
Who are you doing this to?
This is to you, Kyle.
Okay.
Would you rather go about your normal day completely in the nude or fall asleep for a continual year?
Ooh.
Wow.
Jesse, the same questions for you too.
I like to sleep. I'm going to sleep for a year.
So you would miss a whole year of stuff.
See, I don't know that I could do that. Like with kids, there's no way I could sleep like I wouldn't want to miss a whole year.
So you got to walk around one whole
do
day.
But do I get to pick the day? Like, is it a day like, last weekend we didn't really leave the house the whole weekend. So
Screw
Well,
it.
what's a normal day for you?
well, if, like a weekday or a weekend? Because the
Weekday.
weekend's going to be awkward because I'm going to be at a wedding more than likely, so that's going to be awkward.
Right.
But if we're talking about a weekday, it means I got to walk into my employer nude. That's going to be rough.
If Kyle's naked, I'm naked. I'm down with him.
Yeah, I think I have to do that just simply because I don't think I could sleep through a year of my kids, man.
Yeah, that's
I just couldn't do it.
naked
Yeah,
stuff.
so bring on the nude, I guess.
It's kind of weird.
Interesting way
It
to
is a
start
little
this
weird,
thing
but-
out.
but- Okay. Next question. Would you rather always wear earmuffs or always wear a nose plug?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm finding these.
I don't either.
I'd say
Um,
my answer is a nose plug because
that's
it'd
what I'm going to go with too.
be
Actually.
really hard to communicate with people with earplugs.
Yeah.
True.
with earmuffs.
Okay.
Well, but it's not
Would you-
it's not earplugs. It's earmuffs.
They're just
right?
muffs. Yeah, they're just muffs.
It'd be kind of nice not to ever have a runny nose again. That'd be kind of nice.
No, but
what
anytime
if
you
you're a
have a
nose
nose
breather?
plug on, your nose runs. Like it's bound to determine. It's just not a good thing.
All right. Yeah, I'm still going to do the nose, I guess.
Okay. Would you rather be without elbows or without knees?
Ooh. That's a weird
My
one.
answer is knees.
That's a weird
Definitely
one.
knees. How could you eat?
Yeah,
like
I think
this.
I have to go with knees too.
Like,
You couldn't. You could. Please drink your beverage like that.
Yeah, lean back against your screen first.
all right, if you guys can guess a number that I'm thinking of, you each get a guess between 1 and 10. I will straight arm drink my beer.
6.
I'm not ready yet. Okay. I have it.
6.
Go. No. Go.
Kyle says 4.
Kyle says 4.
Yes.
Which one of us was right?
4.
He's gonna do this.
I gotta take my headphones off. One second.
All right, this is gonna be this is gonna go viral.
I might choose knees after this. I did choose knees. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh, let's go.
I'm pretty sure you bet your elbow.
Um,
Oh,
I would
man.
I would rather be without knees.
Molly's gonna watch this back, and
Oh,
she's not
man.
gonna be happy about the carpet.
Oh man,
Okay.
that's the best. Okay,
Last one.
That was good.
Last one.
good job.
Would you rather go to the bathroom in a giant litter box in your house or anywhere you want but outside only?
Giant litter box in the house.
Okay.
Oh, outside.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I'm a man.
That's what I was thinking of. Absolutely.
Nah, I don't.
Have
I
fun
don't
in your
need
litter
that kind of
box,
attention.
Kyle.
I'm already walking around random days naked. I don't need to
Right. Yeah.
be
True.
outside
True.
anymore.
Kyle, what are you,
All right.
like 6'7"?
Depending on which convenience store I'm leaving, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. 6'7".
To see this giant man squatted down in a giant litter box? That just
Just be hilarious. See?
I would love it.
With-
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think that's funny.
with no knees.
How am I squatting? This is gonna be the worst.
Yeah. How do you squat without knees?
I have to
I mean,
give,
you can't
give
drink a
myself
beer.
a bench to sit on.
You can't drink a beer without elbows. I just proved that.
All right.
So, all right, actual last question.
Okay.
I promise.
Oh.
Would you rather eat the same meal for the rest of your life or never use social media again?
I could honestly do away with social media if I had to.
Okay. What would your meal be?
I wouldn't want to have a meal.
Oh,
If,
yeah, duh. My
if
bad.
I had
Yeah,
to
I
do
read
the
that.
same meal every day for the rest of my life, it
It
would,
would get tedious.
it would probably be like a cheeseburger and fries. Something
Okay.
that
Kyle?
I eat a lot anyway.
Yeah, I do too.
I would probably, yeah, social media. I probably would get off from too. Honestly, I've talked many times. If I didn't kind of have to be on it because of my business, I'd probably do away with
wouldn't.
social media now anyway.
Same.
Right.
Just because it's just such a time sink, you know,
Yeah.
and I hate that you just sit and scroll. But if I had to pick one meal to eat the rest of my life, as odd as it sounds, probably like a Tombstone pizza.
Really? You're a Tombstone guy.
I'm a Tombstone guy. I like Jack's to a point, but Tombstone's where it's at.
Tostinos is where it's at, bro. Don't even come at me.
Who?
Tostinos?
The like little
Hard-
dollar ones
Hard pass.
Little party
with
pizzas.
the like little square
Hard
cheese stuff.
pass.
If I ever go to a wedding and they have those, I will be the happiest person ever.
Okay, speaking of being at a wedding, so workflow for the day of the wedding. What do you got?
I ask them if they have Totino's pizzas.
Okay,
Like,
Day of the wedding.
perfect segue.
perfect. Second.
Day of the wedding. Personally, I wake up that morning with my wedding on my mind. We are a multi-op company. I am. So I actually have usually 4 or 5 weddings on my mind. First thing I do is I text all my brides right when I wake up, and I just say, hey, I hope you woke up ready to have a great day today. One thing that does for them is it lets them know that their DJ's thinking about them. They're not
Right.
worried, did the DJ forget my wedding day? But also, hopefully, it'll make her have a good day. That's my goal, is to just set her in the right mindset, ease that stress a little bit, and say, all right, we're doing this. Today's the day.
I think mine's kind of the same way. I even started thinking about it Friday night. A lot of times, couples have rehearsal dinner on Friday night. So sometimes I even reach out on Friday night and say, hey, just want to let you know this is what time I plan to be there tomorrow. Is there anything else that you have thought of that you need, or that I can get or I can help get, help complete, help do, whatever. That's something I've started doing, is reaching out, even the night before, along with the morning of. I just think it's going that extra mile, and we always talk about what else can you do.
Yeah, for sure. I've kind of started doing the. I've always done the kind of the Thursday or Friday before. Hey, just making sure we're good to go. Is there anything else you need? All that kind of stuff. Something that I could do better is contacting day of. It's not something I currently do much of. So that's definitely something I could work on. But then, yeah, just kind of like what Jesse said, when I wake up, it's the one thing I'm thinking about the whole day. Basically,
Right.
besides my, family stuff that I'm doing, is just, okay, getting in that mindset, because, it kind of takes a mindset to do it, because we got a lot of setup to do before, but then we got to help through the day. We got to kind of keep the day moving, keep it going through, especially at the reception and stuff. And then we got to perform. And, it takes a lot. It's a lot more than just showing up and turning on some music. So it's really going to get my head in the right space. And I really use my drive for that. As I'm driving, I'm going through songs and I'm thinking about stuff, and I'm playing different playlists through my phone and just kind of trying to get in a musical mindset. So.
Right. So okay. So we've talked about before. We've talked about during. What is your guys' after look like?
So I always send a follow-up right away the next morning. I know a lot of DJs I've talked to and stuff, they say, don't waste your time. They're going on their honeymoon. They're this and that.
Right.
But I don't expect them to respond to me right away. I want to get them a follow-up right away. If I wasn't their DJ, if it was one of my other DJs, I just make sure everything went good for them. Was everything to your satisfaction? Did it go well? And for my brides or my couples, I just thank them. You know, it really is. I know I personally do 60 to 70 weddings a year, but every single one feels really, really special to me. And it's still fresh in my mind that next morning. And I just tell them it was an honor to be their DJ.
Yeah, because it is an honor. I mean, it's the biggest day of people's lives, so it's a huge honor that, you know, we're lucky enough to be a part of it, whether it's 10 a year or whether it's 30 a year. You know, I feel like we're honored to be a part of any celebration.
Yeah. I do a lot of what Jesse does. I try to contact him right away the next day and just say, hey, was everything working right? Is there anything that you were, you know, dissatisfied with? Was, you know, I'm just a single up right now, so, you know, just making sure that we're going through it and they have a great day, and, you know, hopefully word of mouth and let their friends know.
Well, and yeah, I think it's super different because I just went from a single op to a multi-op, so I see both sides really. Like, I see Kyle's side more clearly than Jesse's side, but I see how Jesse has to do it too. Like, you reach out to your other guys, you reach out and see how they did, as opposed to Kyle. That was one of the hardest things for me to switch, was like, oh, I have to remember to text him, or I have to remember to call my other DJ and say, hey man, how'd it go? Anything I need to know about? Because I was so used to just doing it for myself. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah,
I think
there's a lot of people that, you know, these DJs, they see dollar signs by saying, oh, I can just bring on another DJ.
Right.
When it comes to having multiple employees in a company,
it's a lot of work.
You know, I don't have staff. I don't have a secretary. I don't have managers or anything. It definitely, every wedding for me is a lot of work. My DJs rock, but they don't do any of this behind the scenes stuff that we've talked about. So before you go multi-op, definitely think about how much work it's going to be.
Yeah,
and I think that goes for photographers or videographers, along with us DJs. You know, I know a lot of photographers are like, oh yeah, I have another shooter out. So I can't imagine like the stress level there, especially with like memory cards and corruption possibly, and all of that stuff happening. Like, that terrifies me for them.
Redundancy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's just always thinking through everything that you got to do, and you know, being able to give that same level of service. If you don't think you can give the same level of service with somebody else that you personally give, it's a lot harder to do that. I've thought about going the multi-op, but I mean, to be completely frank, one of the reasons I haven't lately really tried to pursue it more is because I don't know if I could have found somebody who I trust enough to put my name on what they do. So I'm currently talking with a person. Hopefully they're willing to come on, but you know, because that's something that I'm looking for is, but you know, just making sure that we're doing that the right way. So
yep, it's a scary thing.
I think it's good. You know, it's good for us to talk about that, whether, you know, we have DJs listening or business owners listening. It's always, how do you expand? How do you expand? How do you expand? So, I think that's a good conversation that, you know, we had. And, you know, looking forward, I'm sure we're going to talk about expanding more and, you know, what does that look like and how do businesses go about doing that? But, I think today was fun.
Yeah.
And I learned that you need elbows to drink beer.
They help a lot. You don't have to, but that helps.
Yeah, I mean, if I had a straw or something. But if you guys have any ideas for any shows or any challenges, any, you know, weird things like we did today, let us know and share the channel, share away. And, you know, I had fun. Did you guys have fun today?
I had a blast.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad I can make a fool of myself and entertain you guys.
We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.
If you have any ideas, let us know. Until next week, thank you.